Course 405, Cooperatives and Collective Action, Unit 1, Introduction to Cooperatives. The Unit 1 will be divided into 4 lessons. Lesson 1 on principles, Lesson 2 on the history of cooperatives in India, Lesson 3 on legislation that mandates for cooperatives, and 4th, some successful examples of major cooperatives in India. The present lesson is Lesson 1, Principles of Cooperatives. The objective of the present lesson is to help us understand what a cooperative is and what are the key principles that define a cooperative. So, in order to arrive at that, the lesson is structured into 3 parts. First, we look at a standard definition of what a cooperative is, then we will delve on the different principles that define a cooperative, and lastly, briefly talk about the values that are entailed in a cooperative. Before I begin the lesson, I would like to give you an activity. Please note this activity. Have you heard of a cooperative before? Are there any examples that you know of or you can think of? Write down the names of these examples, 1 or 2 examples that come to your mind. Now, first, use the example to think of what makes it a cooperative. What are the features that distinguish it as a cooperative? Write the points that you can think of, at least 2 or 3. Second, are there any 1 or 2 words or terms that you can think of which can be related to cooperatives? Write these down. Pause for a few minutes and note down your responses. So now, beginning with the words or terms that can relate to what we call a cooperative. 1. The word cooperate, which means to align, to understand, to work or act together, to come together, and come together for a purpose, for an objective. So, cooperative from cooperate. Second is collective action. Cooperatives fall under what is known as collective action, which is action taken together by a group of people. So, therefore, we now have a group of people who are coming together, cooperating, taking action, and taking action towards a common goal or common end. The standard definition of a cooperative that is accepted has been given by the International Cooperative Alliance. It is a body that coordinates any action related to cooperatives. It's a global apex body for cooperatives and provides them a global voice and forum. The definition of cooperative as given by the International Cooperative Alliance is as follows. An autonomous association of persons united voluntarily to meet their common economic, social and cultural needs and aspirations through a jointly owned and democratically controlled enterprise. I repeat, an autonomous association of persons united voluntarily to meet their economic, social and cultural needs and aspirations through a jointly owned and democratically controlled enterprise. Now, let us break this up. An autonomous, that is independent, association of persons, association meaning coming together, united voluntarily, that is they have come together on their own, not by force from anyone, to meet their common economic, social, cultural needs and aspirations. So, they have come together for what? To meet their common economic, social, cultural needs and aspirations. And how have they come together or in what form? Through a jointly owned, which means owned by all the persons, and democratically controlled. Each person has a say, enterprise, and enterprise indicating economic activity. So, that is what it is, an autonomous association of persons united voluntarily to meet their common economic, social, cultural needs and aspirations through a jointly owned and democratically controlled enterprise. So essentially, a cooperative is an organization or an enterprise or a business that is owned and democratically run jointly by all its members, and by members is meant all those who share the profits or the benefits. The members of the cooperative work together or cooperate to bring in resources for their common benefit and progress, and each member has a say in decisions. So we can say that cooperative refers to a kind of ownership structure, and cooperatives can be owned by workers, community members, or both. So this is broadly what is meant by a cooperative and how it is defined. Now go back to the activity that you did in the beginning of the lesson. Go back to the answers that you have noted in response to the two questions that I posed. Do any of your points relate to how a cooperative has been defined? To understand better what makes cooperatives what they are, or what distinguishes cooperatives, we need to understand the principles that actually make a cooperative. There are 7 principles which define cooperatives, and going through these will help us understand more clearly about cooperatives, and these principles have been outlined once again by the International Cooperative Alliance. The 7 principles are: voluntary and open membership; second, democratic control by members; third, economic participation of members; fourth, autonomy and independence; fifth, education, training and information; sixth, cooperation among cooperatives; and seventh, concern for community. We will go through each of these one by one. First, voluntary and open membership. So cooperatives are essentially voluntary organizations, which means they are open to all persons who are able to use its services and who are willing to take responsibilities related to their membership. In order to become a member of a cooperative, there is no distinction that is made based on gender, social, political, or religious aspects. A person is free to enroll in a cooperative society and can also leave anytime. And joining and becoming a member is easy, it's simple and cost free. So both entry and exit are voluntary. A minimum of 10 members above 18 years of age are required for a cooperative to be formed. So membership to a cooperative is voluntary and open. That's principle number 1. Principle number 2, democratic control by members. So now we have, let's say, a set of members who have come together and formed a cooperative. We are talking now of democratic control, which means that cooperatives are controlled by their members who participate actively in all the decisions pertaining to the cooperative. That is, all members have equal say. They all have equal voting rights. There is one member, one vote, irrespective of the capital share that the members have contributed to the cooperative. So from the day-to-day schedules to broader issues, all members have an equal and fair say. Such a process, such a democratic process actually serves as an incentive for members to participate. And when members know that their votes count and that their opinion is valuable, then they will be more than willing to participate. So this is what is meant by democratic control by members. Everyone has a fair say in the decisions pertaining to the cooperative. And in a cooperative, there is a head management committee, and members are elected by the common members. That is, those who form part of the managing committee are elected by all the members. And those who are elected are in turn accountable to all the members. So it is this kind of democratic style of working which ensures that those who are in elected position are accountable for their actions. Principle number 3, economic participation, which means that members contribute capital economic capital amount, their share to the cooperative. When we say members contribute equitably, what does that mean? It does not mean equal. Equal means same to same. Equitable is fairness, but it is based on need or circumstance. So members contribute equitably, that is fairly as per their circumstances or need. The surplus produce or the profits that are generated in the cooperative is then distributed among the members according to their respective contribution or share, and of course in conformity with the bylaws that have been made for that specific cooperative. Principle 4, autonomy and independence. Cooperatives are autonomous self-help organizations. A cooperative has to get registered, and a registered cooperative is recognized by the government as an independent entity, which means that a cooperative society can make its own decisions for the benefit of its members, and if it is decided to enter into an agreement with another organization, which could include government, or be able to raise capital from other external sources, all of this is done on a democratic process involving all members. So essentially, a cooperative society has autonomy. It does not get affected with the entry or exit of individual members. So this is how it is autonomous and has independence. Principle 5, education, training and information. Cooperatives provide education and training for their members, for their elected representatives, for the employees, for the managers, so that they can contribute effectively to the development of their own cooperative. Actually, being a part of a cooperative experience is itself a learning, and in a way cooperatives inform and show the general public, particularly young people, about the nature and benefits of cooperation. Principle 6, cooperation among cooperatives. Cooperatives serve their members most effectively and strengthen the cooperative movement by working together through local, national, regional and international structures. People with middle and low income levels benefit from cooperatives, and through these they can help each other achieve higher profits than their normal incomes. They also develop a sense of mutual trust while assisting one another. So cooperatives also support and assist other cooperatives. Principle number 7, concern for community. Cooperatives work for the development of their communities through the policies and decisions that are approved by its and their members. The main aim of cooperative societies is to help people overcome financial situations and gather support and assistance from communities around. So the very act and process of a cooperative strengthens community relationships and also improves ties within the community. So therefore the main purpose and objective of a cooperative is a concern for the community and its development, growth and also strengthening ties. So that is principle 7, concern for community. So these are the 7 principles. In addition, there should also be professional management. All cooperatives must be run competently. There should be periodic audits that should be carried out. And also there should not be financial risks. Cash and direct transactions are the basic modes of operation of cooperatives, and cooperatives actually guard members against losses which they may face otherwise due to taking poor loans, and joining a cooperative minimizes financial risk. Now go back to the activity that you did earlier. Use the example of a cooperative that you have noted down and find out if that cooperative aligns with these 7 principles that have just been enumerated. First one, voluntary and open membership, which means anyone can join irrespective of different parameters or biases or discrimination, and they can also leave at any point in time. Second, democratic control by members. All members have an equal say in decision making. Economic participation by members, which means members contribute capital to the cooperative equitably. Fourth, autonomy and independence, which means that it is an entity, independent entity, which is registered and recognized as autonomous and can make its own decisions. Education, training and information. The experience of being a part of a cooperative actually makes the members learn different values and principles which the cooperative brings in, and also informs the general public about these. Sixth, cooperation among cooperatives, which is to support and promote other cooperatives and be there for each other. 7 is concern for community. That is, the main aim or purpose is the development of and growth of the community, the members of the community who are actually part of the cooperative, and also strengthen ties between them. So use the example that you have given at the beginning and try to see if that particular example of a cooperative has any of these 7 principles. Based on the principles that we have just discussed, we can actually draw some inferences about cooperatives. That it is a non-capitalist association of people, which means that the primary goal is not profit, but rather service to the members. But it is a business, it's not a charitable organization. Members share the profit equitably, but they also share the risk. And there is a democratic management and decision making. Cooperatives support weaker sections of the community and they do not promote any form of exploitation. Cooperatives generate employment and also educate people on different values through direct engagement and experience itself. The cooperative movement has contributed significantly to development of rural areas in India. There's been a feeling of brotherhood and tendency to work together, which has been seen to grow among members of different cooperative societies, and a sense of real democracy is communicated among people. They have helped many get out of the clutches of money lenders and protected them from the exploitation faced by middlemen. Farmers get help and they don't have to depend on money lenders. They also get into the habit of saving. So it is the community rooted nature of cooperatives that makes them ideal organizations for the growth of rural economy. There are also advantages of being a part of cooperatives. The formation of a cooperative is very easy. Persons having common interests can form a cooperative society. The amount of capital contributed by each member determines the extent of their liability. And members don't face any risk to their personal property due to business liability, unlike in the case of solo owners and partners. And cooperative allow members or customers to manage their supplies and eliminate middlemen's profit. Both the central and state governments offer many forms of assistance to cooperatives, like capital contribution, like low interest loans, like tax exemption or subsidies for loan repayment, etc. A cooperative society also has a steady existence and it lasts for a long time. Its continued existence is not affected by financial losses or exit of any of its members or other factors. Moreover, cooperatives provide agricultural credits and funds where state and private sectors have not been able to do as much. Cooperatives provide strategic inputs for the agricultural sector, consumer societies meet their consumption requirements at concessional rates. And a cooperative society also plays a key role in representing the needs of members in a larger market. So having understood how we define a cooperative and what are the principles that make it a cooperative, we've got an understanding of what it is. But let's now move on to know some of the values which actually bring a cooperative together. So these values are self-help, self-responsibility, democracy, equality, equity and solidarity. Self-help, which means members need to come forward to help themselves and also help each other. So it's not about an external help, self-help, that you come together to help yourselves and also other members. Second, self-responsibility, which means each individual member is responsible within the group and they should play their respective part. So self-responsibility. Third, democracy, which means that no one individual member holds more power than the others. Members choose their representatives by way of voting, which is that each individual has one vote and everyone has a say in decisions. Equality. Each member should benefit from the same rights based on their level of contribution. Equity, which means that all members are treated fairly without any form of discrimination. And equity is essential to creating a harmonious relationship among all members. And solidarity, which means that members form a unified and united organization where all support one another. And each organization also supports other cooperatives to form a united network. So these are the values on which a cooperative comes together, which means the idea, the philosophy, the thinking behind having a cooperative. And these values are self-help, self-responsibility, democracy, equality, equity and solidarity. With this, I come to an end of lesson 1. Thank you.